What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and today we're talking about making gold with concentration. This is a topic I've been talking about a bunch, and at the moment it's my main method of making gold, and I'm just gonna say right now, the more characters you have, or the more time you have to level up characters, the more you can scale this. If you have one character only, and you only want to play one character, this will not be for you, but if you have 10 characters, 50 characters, or even 100 characters that you just want to make gold on, well, this video will likely be the one for you. Now in this video, I'll be talking about my setups that I have for concentration to give you an example of how to spend your knowledge points to make gold with concentration. I will not go through the entire setup in this video, as I have a previous video on that, which if you want to know more about setting yourself up from start to finish, I would recommend going to my channel and checking out a video with this thumbnail from a couple of weeks ago where we go through the entire setup and I show you guys how to get from start to finish and getting the tools, the knowledge points, the treasures, absolutely everything, because there is a little bit to know about for the setup here, and you can even use that setup to get extra acuity, artisan acuity, to get blue tools, because we do cover the enchanting catch-up system in this video, so you can use that to get more knowledge points, more acuity, and get those rare tools. Having those rare tools will increase your profit massively, so for example here, in enchanting, by having the epic rod, and also the two rare tools, you will get way more profit than you would if you have the green ones. You can almost double your profit by having the rare tools and the epic rod. Now, the thing is, if you follow the video that I just talked about, you're gonna get these rare tools and the epic rod from the start. Literally, you can make a character right now and max yourself out for concentration in enchanting and have the epic rod and both the rare items right here as well, so you can have the specs that I'm talking about today, if you just start now. Either way, more on that is in this video once again, so go to my channel, look for that thumbnail, and you are good to go. Additionally, if you want to have more gold making information, I have a gold making guide for the War Within, where we cover absolutely everything for gold making, from professions to spending concentration, knowledge points, gold farming, you get the point. Pretty much anything about gold making that I have to share will be in that guide, and when you buy the guide, you also get access to a gold making Discord server, where you get early access to content, and even exclusive content. Now, to touch more on what that means, when I make, for example, when I make gold farming videos, when we find very good farms in the game, I usually find those farms, make a video on them, and make that video public after a day or two. If you have this guide, you will have access to the video instantly, which means you can farm that farm before it becomes public knowledge, and the same thing goes for investments, crafts, shuffles, all of my gold making content you pretty much have early access to. You also have some exclusive videos, that means videos that will not go public on YouTube, that you also get access to. At the moment, for example, we have 3 absolutely banging videos that are in exclusive access, which highlights some of the best ways to make gold in the War Within at the moment, so once again, that is exclusive to people that have that gold making guide, and you can check it out through the link down below. Now, that's a long intro, but I think it's important to talk about that we're not doing the setup in today's video, and we already have a video about that you can check out, and I'll try to leave a link down below to that as well, so you can easily click that link to check out the video. Today we are only focusing on exactly how to spend your knowledge points, so you have something you can copy and paste. So I'm currently on my enchanting character and jewel crafting character, and I really like both of these professions for spending concentration, because you don't need to get that many knowledge points to start making gold. You can basically set this up in one day, and you don't even have to do your weeklies if you don't want to. I am doing my weeklies though to get some knowledge points as a backup, but you don't need the backup either. So in enchanting, I have put in points into supplementary shattering. We have 30 points, 30 points, and 30 points, and the reason for that is that this one right here is a jack of all trades, giving you resourcefulness, multicraft, and ingenuity. We don't care about multicraft, so we're leaving this tree alone, because enchants cannot proc multicraft. However, they do proc resourcefulness and ingenuity, so we're focusing on every talent point here that gives you resourcefulness or ingenuity, which is all of those 3 talent trees. So getting this will be 90 knowledge points, and after that you want to max out 1 branch. Now at the moment I have spent 30 points, 20 points, 20 points, and 20 points. Now The cursed chance for me is a backup, so it's not something you need to have, but it's a backup just in case this one goes to not profit or bad profit. But at the moment, the one that I'm focused on is tertiary trivialities. So you spend 30 points into everlasting enchantments, 20 points into Nerubian novelties, and then 20 points into tertiary trivialities. Now the craft that I'm doing there for that one is a chant of armored avoidance. You can also buy the chance for armored leech, so if you have multiple enchanters, you can get 50% of each. And that means that half of your enchanters can, for example, be doing Chant of Armored Avoidance, and half of your enchanters can be doing Chant of Armored Leech, and therefore you can just divide your sales across 2 different items that are in pretty big demand. Now, looking at some of the profits here when you're crafting, this is pretty good, because if I put in quality 2 reagents, and we have the tools we currently have, we spend 138 concentration on crafting this item. We also have a bunch of resourcefulness, and we have 33% ingenuity. This is using a quality 1 ingenuity flask, actually maybe a quality 2 ingenuity flask, and also having ingenuity tool with the ingenuity enchant on it as well. Now, as you can see, we have some craft sim profit details here, or the price details, so you can see the profit per item. Now in this case we have we can see rank 3 is 1443 gold profit when we're crafting at the moment. So if I put in this, for example, the price should change. So now you can see it's not profitable to make if you use quality 3 reagents, but using quality 2, we make 1400 gold. And these prices have been updated today. This is the EU market. And when I make these enchants, on average, I get 10 enchants per character. And you can see right now that is, I can make about 7 enchants by default, but you usually proc some ingenuity, and for every time you proc ingenuity, you can do 1 more enchant. So my personal record is doing 14 enchants, which is pretty much twice as many as you should be able to, but on average I do about 10 to 11. Now keeping the math here pretty simple, 10 enchants, that is 14,000 gold profit every 3.5 or 4 days. Now for the second profession that I personally use a bunch for concentration, we don't have all of the blue tools just yet. We have the main thing, which is a blue tool, and for this one I have a multicraft tool with resourcefulness enchant on it. Now on this one you have a couple of options. You can either do resourcefulness enchant or ingenuity enchant. In general, if you're only doing concentration crafting, I believe ingenuity is better, because the main resource you make gold with will be your concentration. So ingenuity enchant is usually better, and the reason why I have resourcefulness is that every now and then I mass craft the gems. So instead of only having this as a concentration character, it is also a mass crafter for gems, where it's supposed to be when I get the rest of the blue tools or the blue accessories. So I've chosen the resourcefulness enchant based on that. Now for how to spend your knowledge points here, it's super simple. Find a gem and max it out. That's it, like 50 points, 30 points, and 20 points. Now, which gem you should find, just go to different, you can search up every single gem on the auction house and see what they are selling for, as an example. Now, what I have done is looking at the best in slot list for DPS classes specifically, because usually in a raid you have way more DPS than you have healers and tanks, and DPS items tend to sell both for more gold and sell faster. So I've been looking at the gems that are best in slot for casters, melee DPS, pretty much every single type of DPS. Now, if you just want to copy my spec here, once again, this is the one that I have on this character. So gem cutting, then we have emerald, and then we have masterful emerald. I also have a character where I have spec into gem cutting, then onyx, and then we have quick onyx as well. And I basically just been dividing myself into different types of gems based on what is currently on the most best in slot lists and what is selling for the most. Just trying to diversify, so the more jewel crafters you have, the more different gems you probably want to make. That way you can sell them all while the prices are hot. And once again, for the tools, if you have if you have dual crafting and you're not gonna have enchanting, you can use the enchanting catch-up to get more acuity and therefore get yourself some rare tools and rare equipment. So you can get the rare equipment and also the rare tool and therefore be maxed out. Now at the moment we are doing Masterful Emerald, right? So going down to Masterful Emerald right here and putting in this, you can see we are spending 223 concentration to craft this item. Now we are on average getting, well, this is profit per item, right? We're getting 758 gold profit per item when we are crafting this. That being said, you have a chance to proc multicraft, and if you have a tool with multicraft on it, you can proc a bunch of extra gems. And I can't show you at the moment because I need a little bit more concentration, but if I do something like, let's see if we can do it now, just to see if we can actually get this up to spend concentration, we actually can't. Which is kind of sad because I wanted to see the exact profits here, but I simply can't get down to 173, and I did this yesterday. Either way, due to the multicraft proc, you tend to make an average of about 1,200 gold per craft, and once again we can do 4 of them every single time we spend concentration, so that is about 4,800 gold every single time you spend concentration on average. Like sometimes you get way more, sometimes you get less, it just depends on the market of that week and also how lucky you are on those multicraft procs. So just know that multicraft really will tell you how much gold you make here, but on a basis like 1.2k per craft, that is about 4,800 or 5,000 gold profit every single time you spend a full bar of concentration on that character. And it's important to note, even if you don't proc multicraft, you still make gold. At the moment it's 750 gold profit, even no multicraft, literally just crafting the item, no resourcefulness, no multicraft, no nothing, you still make 758 gold profit, which means 3,000 gold profit every time you spend a full bar of concentration, no matter what happens. Now next up, let's talk about inscription, and for this we have 2 different builds, so I'll go through build number 1 first, and build number 1 will be based on making the, not this, but over here, Dark Moon Sigils. This is usually the best one to make, depends kind of, but usually this one sells really fast, and you can make a bunch of gold on this one as well. This is basically an embellishment that is best in slot for a bunch of classes, specifically in DPS classes once again, and therefore it's the one that is selling the most out of all of the sigils, so it's selling the most and also selling for the most, so you can sell more of them and you sell them for more. Now to build this you need 30 points, 30 points and 30 points. You can ignore these 15 points by the way, so just completely ignore those. All you need is 30, 30 and 30, so 90 points right here. Now after putting that down, you also need another 120 points into all of these right here, so 30, 30, 30 and 30, and for this you have Pursuit of Knowledge for Ingenuity, Resourcefulness and Multicraft, and then you can specify into one of them or all of them. Now the route I would do here is first of all maxing out the main node, which gives you benefits all across the board. After that I would do Multicraft, then Ingenuity, and finally Resourcefulness, just to give you a like a priority list. So number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4. You could also do multicraft first, so number 1, number 2 and number 3, and then number 4 for example, but usually you will have enough knowledge points to do 2 of them anyway, like maxing out both instantly. Now looking at these sigils right here, we are making about 700 gold profit every single time we craft a rank 3 with rank 2 materials, and we spend 196 concentration on this, and we still have 1 green, like the lens, the glasses, right? We still have that on green. We can eventually upgrade this one to rare as well, to have 3 rare tools, so that's next on the agenda to reduce the concentration cost a little bit more, but that means you can do 5 crafts every single time you have a full concentration bar. Now rounding this down to 700 gold multiplied by 5, that is 3,500 gold profit every single time you spend concentration, and that is once again not counting in multicraft or resourcefulness. Now, based on the spec we have 19% resourcefulness and 23% multicraft, so chances are you will proc way more gold, and usually I make about 7,000 gold profit on my scribes like this, so 3,500 gold is a baseline, but thanks to the procs, you tend to get about double that, because when you proc multicraft, for example, you're not just gonna get 1 more sigil, well, you can, but you can also get 3 more sigils, 4 more sigils, or 5 more sigils, so proccing a multicraft, which once again has basically a 1 in 4 proc chance, you get way more sigils, and make way more gold. Now, for concentration spec number 4, we are once again going back to inscription, but this time around we are making contracts. And you can see this guy has 3 rare blue tools, or like tools and accessories, and we are spending 219 concentration, well, 218 concentration, so almost down to being able to make 5 of them, but so far we make 4, and we can proc ingenuity to get 1 or 2 more crafts, and we once again have 23% multicraft as well. So you can see here the actual average profit here is less than sigils, so at the moment sigils might be better. Now I have a couple of contract makers and I have some sigil makers because the profit margins tend to go up and down, and I'm recording this video on a Friday. Now typically contract goes up in price on Wednesday, so even though they're worth less right now, I usually make them throughout the week and start selling them on Wednesday for a huge upsell. So typically I make more gold on contracts, but it's good to have both contract crafters and also sigil crafters. So for the build here, you are doing basically the same thing as sigils, but instead of doing sigils, you are doing contracts. Now, I have spent a lot of knowledge points on this character, so you can ignore most of my builds here. You will spend 30 points into archival additions, 30 points into runic research, and then 30 points into contract. After that, you also need pursuit of knowledge, where once again you benefit from all of these nodes, and the priority is basically the same. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, and you can once again make a really solid argument for doing number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So choose your priority there based on those, but usually you get enough knowledge points to max out 2 builds straight off the bat, sometimes even 3 builds. It just depends on the route you go for. Now, the thing about all the specs that I've talked about so far is that they are really easy to set up, and you can be done with them really fast. And then you can just log in, spend your concentration, and you don't even have to do your weeklies, unless you really want to, or to make like a backup build. Now, for the next one, we're talking about alchemy, and this one is way more long term, where you can always keep building up and improving your spec. So this one requires more work to become really profitable, but once you start making profit, it's really good. So using this character right here as an example, we are using 2 green equipment and 1 blue tool, which is a multicraft tool enchanted with ingenuity on it, and you can see we spend 264 concentration to make 1 flask using a quality 1 vial and quality 2 herbs, and you can upgrade this as much as you want to, like, you will then spend more gold and make less profit, but now we can basically do 5 crafts instead of just 3 or 4, so sometimes you might want to increase the quality of the reagents that are being used, and sometimes you might want to downgrade them, but going from doing 3 crafts to doing 5 is a huge benefit. Now, something you can see here is that if we take this right here as an example, we are making a gold like profit of 529 per craft. But when you proc multicraft, you make way more, and you can end up making way more gold than this as well. So for example, spending concentration right now, we get 1.6k gold back, or basically 529 gold profit every single time we craft this. But when you proc multicraft in alchemy, you don't just get 1 extra flask or 2 extra flasks, well, you can, but you can also get up to, is it 9 extra flasks or 7? Like, you can get so many extra flasks, it's insane, and when you proc multicraft, that is a huge bonus. Now, I've set up both flask crafters and potion crafters, by the way, in the War Within, and for concentration specifically, flasks are doing way better for me than potions are. So if you're starting alchemy now, I would recommend flasks over potions, and for that, this is the build you want to go for: fantastic flasks, and then bulk production. If you're doing profession flasks, you also want to do profession files, obviously, but I'm mostly doing actual flasks, and after that, the real grind begins, where you can put points into anything here that benefits your craft. So for example, if you're doing Flask of Alchemical Chaos, you can max out Blessing Blossom, Arathor's Spear, Lure Drop, and Orbinid, and you really want to max them all out as well. Now, I've been doing weeklies on this character since week 1, and I still haven't maxed it out, by the way, so alchemy is a lot of work if you really want to max it out. Now, you could also, for example, only do Flasks of Tempered Mastery, and in that case, you only have to care about Arathor's Spear and Blessing Blossom. So depending on the flask you want to make, you will have less work to do or more work to do as well. So yeah, you just want to max out fantastic flasks and do something in Alchemical Mastery to max that out as well. Now, something I am doing very long term here is that after I have maxed this out, which is in about 13 more points, I will also be doing Thaumaturgy and starting my Thaumaturgy journey. So that's gonna take a while. But yeah, alchemy requires way more work than any of the other professions that I've talked about so far today, but it can be really good, even for concentration, especially for flasks. Now, so far, my advice would be to pick up Enchanting and either Jewel Crafting or Inscription, and choose any of the builds I've covered so far, and Alchemy is something I would not recommend over the other ones at the very moment, but Alchemy might be better long term for the entire expansion. That is still uncertain. We can get new flasks later down the line, or even if we don't, flasks will always be relevant, but the same thing goes for gems, the same thing goes for sigils, and the same thing goes for contracts, and even enchants. So everything covered so far will basically be important for the entire expansion. Now for me, once again, I would choose Enchanting as profession number 1, and go for the build I showed you earlier today, in this video, and then either Jewel Crafting or Inscription. And for Inscription, you can either go contracts or sigils. Now, at this point, I also should make a honorable mention to tailoring, which might hopefully make a return to former glories at some point, but at the moment, like, I used to make spell threads, and spent concentration to make spell threads, and that used to be really good for gold, for a while, but as you can see at the moment, even though we are making, like, looking at craft sim average profit, you do make a gold, like, you make a profit every single time you craft this, about 420 gold profit for your concentration craft, but that is way less than anything we have covered so far, and all of the other crafts we have covered so far today, they make profit baseline, which means every time you spend concentration, you make gold. No matter if you proc multicraft or ingenuity or resourcefulness, you always make gold, but the stats, like multicraft for example, will just help you make more gold. Now for spell threads, at the moment, even if I make rank 3, I lose gold, unless I proc something. So the only times I make gold, even with concentration, is when you proc something, which over a while, like if you have multiple tailors, that is not bad, and making 400 gold profit is also not bad. It is just not good either. It is just like, whatever, you take it, right? It's fine. But tailoring used to be good, at the moment isn't really that good, but I just wanted to mention that as well. I have some spell thread crafters that I made a bunch of gold with early, but that has really gone down. But if you have set up tailors for spell threads, they might make a return in 11.1 or 11.2. Either way, that is a very long video for concentration crafting in the War Within, so hopefully this gives you an idea of how to build your specializations for concentration, and at least now you have 4 examples that you can copy and paste to make gold with concentration. So if you're setting up alts right now, you have specific examples to follow that I am currently making gold with, and at the moment, they're making gold, and so far in the War Within, they have always been profitable, and I think they will still be. Like, no matter if thousands of you guys follow this advice, I think it's still gonna be profitable, because even now, people have hundreds of characters built for concentration, and these items are always in demand. I cannot see a future where the supply will outweigh the demand, so these ones are pretty much always profitable. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, and if you have any additional builds for concentration, let me know in the comments how you are making gold with concentration. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon. Bye.